2024 is in full swing, and I just have to ask, have you set your goals yet? Have you identified the habits that you want to build and the habits that you want to unlearn yet? I'm just kidding. There's absolutely no judgment no matter where you are with your goal setting or planning for this year, but I do have a confession to make. I have struggled with motivation in different areas of my life for, I want to say, the past 4 years. There's areas in my life that I've really been able to focus on, which is great, and really grow, but then there's also areas of my life that I cannot for the life of me put any energy into, and it's extremely frustrating. So if you're also feeling stuck and you're kind of in your lazy girl era, which by the way is totally fine, everyone goes through them, everyone needs a lazy girl era now and again, but if you're feeling stuck in that mindset, then let me share some amazing tips with you to get us through that phase. What I have been slowly learning over the last couple of years is that yes, determination and willpower and discipline is amazing, but not everyone works in that way. Not everyone wants to or can work under an army routine schedule where you're up at 5 o'clock, you do an hour of heavy lifting, and then you do this, and then there's this routine, and then it's too structured for some people. I think for some people it works amazing, and that's the only way that they like to operate. But I think for most of us who never were raised with that sort of a strict routine, we kind of have to find the balance between motivation, discipline, and also just doing what makes us happy and what makes us feel good. What I've learned from both experimentation and working on myself, but also from books like Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal and some other books, is that sometimes what you actually need is to first take care of yourself, your rest, how you're feeling, your happiness, your joy, your relationships, before the motivation and the productivity can come. So let's back it up and talk about the science of it first. I think by now we've all heard of the happy hormones. There are 4 hormones that cause joy, happiness, bonding in your life. These 4 hormones are serotonin, which is connected to mood regulation, sleep, appetite, and just overall feelings of well-being. Then there's oxytocin, which is connected to love and bonding and social connections and relationships. Then there's endorphins, which are released when you are going through physical activity or even when you are stressed or in pain. This hormone also brings on the feelings of happiness, but it also helps to relieve discomfort. And then there's dopamine, which is the reward hormone, aka it's linked to motivation, drive, desire, pleasure, and it provides us with that satisfying feeling that helps us be able to focus on things for longer. I think it's important to understand what each of these hormones are, how they're released, and how they help you function in your day-to-day life, because having that base knowledge actually provides you with kind of an easy to-do list of how you can work towards releasing and producing more of these hormones in your brain, which in turn will help you be more productive and motivated. It's really such a cyclical journey. You feel good, so you have more energy, motivation, love, and because you feel these great feelings, you can then do more, achieve more, which then brings the satisfaction, which makes you feel good again. So can you kind of see why we start to fall in these really stuck moments? Because if we're not feeling good, we don't have energy. And when we don't have energy, we can't do a workout to release dopamine, or get outside to get some fresh air, or do work that makes us feel achievement, which then in turn leads to more negative feelings. So people who are experiencing positive emotions, not only are you more sociable, more optimistic, more creative, but you're actually accomplishing more as well. It's definitely a toughie, and the negative cycle is something that I've entered and came out of, and then re-entered and then came out of so many times. So I am going to share some strategies or just like tips and actions and habits that I've tried that really helps me break out of that negative cycle, aka my lazy girl era, and bring me back to a place where I'm feeling good and I'm energized and I'm doing more. One thing I really like about Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal is that he puts a lot of focus on play. If you remember when we were kids, it was so easy to play and happiness was so easily achieved. Like we could go to a playground, we could literally just run around in a grass field. It just seemed like there were infinite ways to get us to be in a good mood and have fun. Whereas now, when we're a little bit older, going into adulthood or in adulthood, play is starting to become more and more difficult to achieve. And for fair reasons. One, we feel like playing isn't productive, so we don't want to allocate time towards it. Two, it's harder and harder to find hobbies that you enjoy. Like, you're not really wanting to spend time just swinging on the swings or playing in a sand pit anymore. You want to find these new hobbies that suit who you are as a person now, that allows you to do things creatively or that allows you to have a creative outlet or to be more sociable, but it's just not easy to find hobbies. So our focus has been shifted away from play and into this mindset of I just need to get things done, I need to have discipline, I need to make it work. But the problem is that does not facilitate happy, feel-good emotions and good energy. In this book, Ali introduces you to Dr. Stuart Brown, who has spent a lot of his life learning and studying the psychology of play. So Dr. Stuart Brown has come up with 8 archetypes or characters that you can fall under when it comes to enjoyment and play. The first is the collector. These are the people who like to gather, who like to collect, who like to organize. So if you think back, it was the kids who loved collecting stickers and organizing them in a sticker book, or collecting stamps and neatly cutting them out and pasting them somewhere. The second one is the competitor, who really just wanted to compete with people and to win. So these are the people who loved sports, loved team sports, loved individual sports. These are the people who loved competitive gaming. Another archetype is the explorer. These are the people who thrived when they got to wander and have adventures and see and experience new things. Then there's the creator, who are the people who love making things with their hands, painting, drawing, building things. There's also the storyteller, which are the people who thrive on using their imagination to entertain other people, whether that's through literal storytelling, whether that's through acting, or even writing. They're the jokers, who genuinely get their joy when they're able to make people laugh. They're the directors, who loved to plan and organize things and to lead others. And then there are the kinesthetes, who thrive in physical activity and moving their body. Knowing these play personalities is really crucial. So take a second and try to identify which one you relate to the most. It could be 1, it could be 2, or even 3. But just really think about which ones speak to you the most, like which desires relate most to the things that make you happy. Because once you sort of know your play personality, it becomes a lot easier for you to figure out how you can actually go about doing things that will energize you, that will give you motivation and make you feel happy. What he also mentions in this book, which I think is super helpful, is that once you know your play personality, you can apply it to work as well. So for example, if you are of the creative play personality, you can try to focus your work so that you have maximum creative output. If you're a director type, maybe you can start reframing the work that you do and start trying to use opportunities you have at work to learn to be a better leader. Knowing your play personality and archetype can really show a lot about yourself, and when you're able to keep that in mind and sort of understand what you desire and what actually satisfies you, you can start to tailor even the most mundane tasks in your life to become fun and joyful and to actually start producing those happy hormones. Okay, so let me share 7 actions or habits that will make you feel good, which in turn will help you feel more energized and productive and help you get unstuck and out of this lazy girl era. Some of these are going to sound really basic, but I'm going to explain to you exactly why they are important and how they can support each of the different archetypes. So the first one, really simple, but cleaning and getting refreshed. This can be cleaning yourself, so having a girl shower, having a spa day, or it can be cleaning your space or digital space. That could be decluttering your home. It could be going through all of your digital files to get rid of anything that you don't need, so clearing up memory on your laptop or phone. Even the simplest tasks like cleaning can actually be reframed to satisfy your exact archetypal desire. So for example, as a collector, yeah, you like to collect things, but you also like when your collections of things are organized. So decluttering in your physical space, for example, can just help you catalog everything you have and ensure that everything you own brings you joy. For the explorer, for example, maybe there are things that you've totally forgotten about in your home and that just live somewhere without you even knowing. So you can think about cleaning as a type of exploration. You are really rediscovering everything you have in your home, and you can start to create an adventure around repurposing things or reusing things or getting rid of things or donating certain things so that somebody else can enjoy them. So can you see what I kind of mean? Even if you have a play personality that has nothing to do with the task that you need to do, you can sort of reframe it so that the task can be enjoyable no matter what your desires or satisfiers are. Another action or habit that will for sure help you feel better is moving your body. Yes, I know how hard it can be to get a workout in when you're not feeling like it. When you feel like you have no motivation, it literally feels impossible to get your ass to the gym. But we have to remember, in order to get ourselves out of that motivation slump and all that negative self-talk and negative emotion that we're feeling, we need dopamine or serotonin. And how are we gonna get that? A workout is literally one of the easiest ways that you can get a strong dopamine release from your brain. So sometimes what's enough to even motivate me is thinking, if I just go do this one workout, I will be able to break out of this negative toxic cycle. Like if I just did one workout, it will propel me into an amazing motivational cycle. So sometimes just that thought and awareness is enough to push me through that threshold. Another great habit to try out is to find a new hobby. Like I said earlier, I know it isn't easy to find something fun to do or a new hobby when you're in this period of your life where you feel like you need to be productive in everything that you do. But try to envision the best version of yourself and imagine like what hobbies would she have. Maybe this ideal version of you is like smarter and intelligent, and maybe her hobbies are reading and learning. Maybe this ideal version of yourself is somebody who's really fit, so a hobby could be playing a team sport. It could honestly even be things like singing, writing, doing something with your hands, making things, making music. But the point is, you want to find a hobby because it's gonna help you produce and release more serotonin. Especially when that hobby is a creative one, it'll actually help you close your stress cycle as well, just like working out does. So if you're feeling a ton of stress and anxiety in your life, even if you leave the stressor behind, so if you leave work or you leave school, that doesn't mean that your body has necessarily processed and gotten over whatever it was that was stressing you out. So sometimes you may question like, okay, I'm home already. I'm no longer facing this stressful thing. Like, why do I still feel so crappy? And it's because you haven't closed your stress cycle. By closing your stress cycle, you're essentially telling your body, hey, it's okay. You don't have to be in fight or flight anymore. We're safe. You can relax. And there's only a certain amount of things that our brain are trained to recognize as a cue or signal for our bodies to be able to relax. Some of these things are physical activity, doing something creative, but they're also stuff like having a positive social interaction, crying, laughing. And oftentimes a creative hobby or any type of fun hobby will support most of the things that help us close our stress cycles. Now, this next one is gonna sound slightly controversial, but another action or habit that will help you get out of your lazy girl era is actually getting ample sleep. And I don't mean oversleeping. We're not out here trying to sleep for 14 hours every day, but at each age group and for each gender, there's actually a scientific recommended amount of sleep that you should be getting in order to make sure that your body can function to the best of its abilities. And yes, these are more recommendations. Everyone is going to be very different. I find that at my age and for my gender, the recommended amount of sleep is like 8 to 10 hours, whereas realistically, I actually feel the best when I get between 6 to 7 hours. So if you sort of know how much sleep you need, that makes you actually feel the best and not feel like restless or over rested, try to get that many hours of sleep every single night. Even if it means you have to sleep in a little bit later, or if you don't have the option to do that, then sleep a little bit earlier. When you get enough sleep, it actually can help your brain regulate, your body regulate. It helps to improve all of your cognitive functions as well as boost your mood. And all of these things will affect your overall productivity and motivation. The fifth habit that really worked for me is actually just getting outside. If you're somebody who needs to have something to do, there are plenty of things that you could do when you're outside. You could just be going for a walk, you could go for a hike, you could join an outdoor sport team or like just play an outdoor sport with your friends. But when you let yourself get outside and do a little bit of exploring or just get a little bit of fresh air, that can really help put some distance and space between all the negative things that you're feeling and what you actually are working towards and want to feel. For example, if you're having a really stressful day at work, studies have shown that if you just remove yourself from that situation and go outside for a walk, when you come back, just by taking that short little break, your focus and concentration will instantly be improved. When you spend time outside, you're also getting vitamin D, which is really helpful for your body to have a clear mind and to have improved cognitive functions. Spending time in nature has also been scientifically linked to reducing stress, reducing anxiety, and reducing depression. Another sort of easy one is actually to learn something. When you're putting your focus in learning, it actually is a great and fun way to stimulate your brain. When you are learning, it actually fosters neural connections that enhances certain cognitive functions like memory, problem solving, critical thinking, and it really helps to boost your mental well-being as well. When you're learning something, you're reducing the feelings of boredom and stagnation, and sometimes boredom and stagnation is really what is anchoring us to that negative cycle that we're feeling. Okay, we're at the very last action and habit that I think has really helped me personally get out of my lazy girl journey, which is to start creating and curating very battery filling and cup filling social interactions. So in order to do this properly, I want you to make a list, like pull out your journal or open the notes app in your phone or laptop and make a list of all the social interactions that you can remember from the previous year, and then also list down who you had those social interactions with. And by interaction, I don't just mean like a hi or a bye on the street, but like the events, the hangouts, the things that you did with your friends or acquaintances, and start to rate them between most to least battery filling. So if you're at the very low end, then these are the events and scenarios that have really made you feel like your battery was completely drained afterwards. It made you feel tired. It made you not want to have another one. And then on the higher end, or on the positive side, these are all of the events and scenarios and people in your life that after you left, you felt motivated or happy or inspired or all of the above. When you start to do this activity, not only are you gonna be able to identify what specific activities are battery draining versus battery filling for you, but you're also gonna start to notice patterns of certain people who drain your battery versus fill your battery. Now, I'm not asking you to start cutting out people from your lives because I think different people have different impact and reasons for being in our lives. Unless you find out that you do have a very toxic friend that you hate being around, then maybe it's time to cut them out. But by identifying these patterns, you're gonna be able to start to create more experiences for yourself that will actually help to fill your social battery, your mental battery, and just make you feel good about life. Once you've jotted down some notes about patterns that you're noticing, brainstorm 5 social activities that you could do to fill your cup, and then also include who you want to do them with. Once you have this list, call your friends up and start scheduling these social activities into your calendar, even if it's just one a week or one a month. But you're essentially ensuring that you will have experiences that motivate you, that make you want to be productive, that make you feel good. And yes, I know sometimes it's kind of impossible to avoid certain social situations, even if they don't make you feel necessarily the best, unless you just start rejecting people who you've never really had that boundary with, which is what we're gonna work towards, okay? We're gonna work on getting there. But just to start, because we're in the beginning stages of getting out of our lazy girl era, we wanna just start ensuring that we are being proactive about creating experiences that make us feel amazing. Okay, so no, this wasn't a video where I tell you that you need to start waking up at 5 a.m. and you need to be working out 5 hours a day and going for a run and having a super strict routine. If that works for you, power to you. You are amazing. You are an inspiration. But if it doesn't, then just recognize that sometimes the answer to getting out of your lazy girl era really is just to start fostering more happiness, more joy, and more play in your life. I hope this video was some nice food for thought, and let's continue working on ourselves together. If you have any tips in this area, please leave them in the comments down below so that we can learn and grow from each other. If you like these productivity, motivational, and wellness tips, I do have a newsletter that you can sign up for in the description box below, where I release more written content about these exact topics. But that's it for today. I hope you guys are having an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!